Hey, welcome to the Beefy Pod, the official podcast of Beefy. I'm TBC with your host Jorge, and ignore the fact that we're both wearing pretty much the same shirt. It's already awkward enough. How you doing today, Jorge?
I'm doing well, TBC. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's been a very exciting week this week in crypto, and I can't wait to start talking about these ridiculous stories as usual. Are you ready?
I am ready now because you know what, TBC? I have, before every episode been gargling water with salt.
Oh,
And, I've been
okay.
prepping my lungs every time for this intro. And it's just so refreshing that you use your bright, beautiful voice for this intro today. I'm proud of you,
Thanks.
TBC. You've grown up
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you. Well, let's get started. And our first story is quite possibly the biggest story in crypto over the last, I don't know, 5 to 6 friggin' years. I mean, people, if you haven't seen this, what part of the world are you living in? This story I'm calling the Banana Bonanza. At the Bitcoin conference this year, 2025, in Las Vegas, crypto entrepreneur and sex symbol Justin's son gifted Mario Rosino Catalans, whatever it is, $6.2 million artwork comedian. You better know it as the duct tape banana scam thing, whatever it is, to Ross Ulbricht, who, of course, was recently pardoned from his, escapades on the Silk Road. Jorge, quick question here. Wouldn't it be ironic if they threw Ross in jail for not claiming the duct tape banana on his taxes?
As odd as it sounds, that is totally possible. I mean, it would be ironic and almost poetic at the same time. So, like, a dude that was under the investigation of the SEC, right? Who donates to like Trump's meme coin thing dinner,
Yes.
gets his golden watch, who gives a banana to a guy who also gets pardoned by Trump, who then ironically gets arrested by the IRS for not claiming the taxes. I mean,
As Trump is trying
that'd
to
be
shut
wild.
down the IRS, right, for the most part, is this is one of the greatest psyops of this generation. So
It
Ross,
is.
be careful out there. You may want to start your GoFundMe right now, so you can pay whatever capital gains may appear on your duct tape banana. Good God.
Dude, I mean, the insanity of the banana itself, it's the intense metaphor of the willingness of the bourgeoisie class to pay for anything in the name of art is it's pretty wild. But congratulations, Ross Ulbricht. You are
Yeah.
not in jail, and now you have a $6.2 million banana.
You got bananas for life, buddy.
You got banana for life. Oh, unless you eat it. Then you
No,
can
you
have a $6.2 million.
That's true. That's true. Oh boy.
That's just math.
This
That's
is
that's just science.
the high quality entertainment here, folks. Anyway,
Yes.
that came out of the Bitcoin conference. Any other highlights, Jorge, coming out of the 2025 Bitcoin conference?
So that's right. It was the Bitcoin 2020. God damn it, TVC. The Bitcoin 2025 conference, which had a myriad of highlights out in Las Vegas that drew about 30,000 people out to the middle of the desert
Yes.
to talk about Bitcoin.
Yes.
Now,
Still.
there was a myriad of different announcements that I have conveniently listed here. First one being Vice President JD Vance basically gave a speech with his wholehearted support for the crypto space and kind of alluded, but didn't get very specific, to doing more with the U.S. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. So I guess the implication here being that he's alluding to them purchasing Bitcoin at the White House at some point. The next thing is that Trump Media and Technology Group will be purchasing $2.5 billion of Bitcoin, so more bags pumping in the near future. And then probably the biggest news of the entire event, which surprisingly didn't really get that much media coverage,
What a surprise.
is that Pakistan announced that they will be establishing their own Bitcoin reserve.
Wow.
So game theory is in play here, ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen, as now we're watching as country after country after country establish their own reserves of Bitcoin. And it'll be interesting. I mean, how many countries does it take until eventually they realize their money is fake? I don't know.
Yeah. I saw
how many is it going to take, TBC?
I'll tell you what. It's all of them, maybe. But then again, I don't know. I tweeted out earlier this week. They were mentioning Trump said something. Well, maybe we'll just use the gold to buy the Bitcoin, and I was all confused. I'm like, why don't you just use the paper money you print to buy the Bitcoin then, and not the gold you
use the fake money for the real money?
Yeah, what? Like what? I don't. Sometimes government is really dumb, and I don't really understand it. And I'll tell you what government isn't dumb? The government of Pakistan. Give them credit. They're an up and comer. And have you considered looking for property in Pakistan yet? Getting in before everybody else starts thinking about it.
Right. And before, and I think this is also a good opportunity to also point out that Pakistan, I'm sorry, I hope I'm pronouncing that correct, are in a conflict with India currently, which I believe has gone through a ceasefire. And I think that this is also, for Pakistan, a very strategic opportunity, since Trump's kids were there and JD Vance, to kind of, kind of create sort of a bridge for communication. Because I think something that was really telling was that when the representative from Pakistan went on stage to make the announcement, that he mentioned, like, we were inspired by the United States, kind of alluding to, hey, there's this conflict and we want to build a better relationship with you, and we recognize that crypto is a big part of what you're doing. But I'm sure that also making a decision like this comes with a lot of economic thought and input as well. So I think it's like a double whammy. Pakistan will benefit from the price appreciation of Bitcoin over the long term. They did explicitly say that they do not plan to sell. We'll see. But overall, I think this is good news. And I think this is a good opportunity at TBC for you and I to also discuss the new video from Coffeezilla that came out recently about the Bitcoin conference, which is titled, "Please Buy My Bitcoin, Mr. President."
I'm pretty sure he stole that joke from us.
I'm pretty sure he did.
I
mean, you and I have had this issue for a long time. Like, don't get me wrong, TBC and I are also wanting to make money. We're not going to act like we are not happy to make money when we can.
I'm not about the money. I don't understand any of this shit. As long as I'm basically V, man. I'm just out there causing trouble. That's all.
That's all TBC does.
That's all. But like, seriously, what, like, that video, and great. I'm glad that video message got out there, because I think it's a message we all tend to hopefully try to celebrate. But I mean, it's something we've all been saying for a long time, and it's starting to get embarrassing. And that's all I'm saying.
It is.
It is. It really is starting to get embarrassing. They're making us all look really, really bad. Every year at the Bitcoin conference, you guys just make us look really bad. Who goes to this thing anymore besides people that are like, pump my bag, son? And then people that are still talking about Bitcoin as a
decentralized money, effectively.
Well, no, they're still talking about it as it's like, new technology. when it's really just like the computers that launched the Apollo mission into the atmosphere. I'm not going to say the moon because I don't want to get people all upset about that. But like, it's just,
I mean, I think like, at the end of the day, the tenets of Bitcoin are so powerful. Like the idea that you don't need a bank, that you can custody your own wealth, so it's not getting lent out to some random person anymore. The idea of creating digital scarcity that is immutable and cannot be affected by anyone else. So it's like a great, means to store value, transfer value in a safe manner, without a middleman. And somewhere along the lines, like they basically, Bitcoin is not a Ponzi, but people are pushing it like it is a Ponzi. Like at the conference, they basically are like, hey, buy this thing because the price is going to keep going up forever and ever and ever. And that's not the real reason it's a consequence of owning Bitcoin. But the whole point was to separate from the banking system itself. It was to create like self-sovereignty. And the irony here is that I personally think Satoshi is dead. Maybe I'm wrong. But if Satoshi was around, I feel like he would be so disappointed at the direction that Bitcoin has gone. Other governments buying it was inevitable. But seeing people, like seeing the infallible amount of corruption in the political system, the pushing of buying like Bitcoin and other assets just to pump its price, it's really unfortunate. Like now everybody just wants more and more people to buy their bags, I don't know.
That's literally
maybe
all crypto.
maybe
What's
I'm
the matter
full of
with
it.
You?
I like making money, but you know what I'm saying.
Buy my bags.
You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah. You're disappointed that we're all whores.
We're all whores.
We are. And if you are interested in supporting whores, reach out to us.
DVC is starting his feet page on OnlyFans, his virtual feet page.
Yes. Thank you very much. Anyway, if Jorge's very depressive point wasn't enough to convince you that the Bitcoin conference was the best thing on earth, another success that came out of the Bitcoin conference is China banning all crypto again. So here we go. So China has escalated its crypto crackdown. I'm going to say that there is a serious correlation to what's happening at the Bitcoin conference and China going, no, we're done with that. So the banning of individual ownership of digital assets, of course, like Bitcoin and, the rest, and potentially the aim to promote a digital,
yuan renminbi.
What?
Is it the renminbi? Yeah, in China it's the renminbi.
Sure. Okay. I'm going to. Yeah.
That's the name of the currency,
renminbi.
Money,
digital money in China.
Yes. CBDC.
China dollars. The move has spiked, obviously, lots of volatility. And hey, I don't know. Is there going to be a rebound this time? Are we going to once again have to sit here and wait as 1 billion people don't have the opportunity to buy XRP? I don't know, Jorge, but I will tell you this. If I was China, all right? If I was China and I saw those damn dancing stupid cows dancing around a Bitcoin sign at the Bitcoin conference, I would have just banned Bitcoin too. I don't know about you, but that's how I feel about it.
I mean, I think that this is just another example of China exercising a what's the word I'm looking for? Is it fascist or is it anyways, I guess China is just exerting its ability to remove freedoms from people, essentially the ownership of property, in this case Bitcoin and other crypto assets.
Maybe.
And I think you're right in the sense that this is a play to push the digital yuan or renminbi out to people, so that way they can be stressed out along with their social credit score, and if it gets too low, now they can't use their renminbi to buy beer or whatever it is the government says you can't buy anymore.
And this is do you think Bitcoin's social credit score decreased so much over the week because of the conference that China was like, we got to pull it. We got it.
Well, I think like the volatility in Bitcoin is a combination of two things. I think that the China part of it, even though nobody's really talking about it, like I was very surprised that I found this on an article on Binance Square of like all places. Like nobody goes there for news, but they're a great source,
we do, folks.
But on top of that, the elephant in the room is that the U.S. District Court of the Federal Trade Commission has shut down Trump's tariffs. So basically, what they argued was very simple, that the president's emergency powers were not sufficient to impose such tariffs, and therefore those tariffs had to go through Congress. However, upon the appeal, they did actually get some of those tariffs back. So for those of you that are curious, the tariffs that were struck down was all of them. These are the ones that are still struck down, which I'll just read off of this lovely article from NBC, thank God. 10% universal baseline tariff, 20% duties on Chinese goods in response to alleged failures to combat fentanyl trafficking, plus the 25% on certain goods from Canada and Mexico that do not comply with the USMCA trade, 10% reciprocal duties targeting all tariff goods from China, de minimis tariffs affecting Chinese goods less than $800. And then these are the tariffs that are remaining. 25% on auto imports, excluding any of the USCMA compliant autos. So that means minus the ones from Canada and Mexico. 25% on auto imports, except for the ones from Canada and Mexico. And finally, 25% on all steel, aluminum, and aluminum articles. So I think, when the tariffs were removed very briefly after that court case, the futures market exploded. Like all Wall Street wants is for this to be over. And like everything was soaring. But then, Trump was able to get that appeal so fast. And I think the reason Bitcoin is down, it's not just China, but it's also the general market just being like, we literally have no idea what's going on. Like, what the hell do we do? How do we forecast this? How do we prepare for the price fluctuations when tariffs come around? TBC, what do you think?
Yeah, once again, I don't have a joke here. I'm just once again reminding everybody that this is all negotiations. It's all political negotiations, and we just got to write it out for a while and not freak out on a daily basis. And all those of you who buy the rumor and sell the news, you need to calm down and chill out. I don't care what Trump says every minute of the day, and I don't make my portfolio adjustments or purchases because of that. So just, if you're out of your friggin' mind. I know you guys like volatility. You're getting your volatility. So
right,
that's cool, but everybody just needs to calm down. It's not the end of the world, folks. There's bigger things out there. There's bigger things out there that can destroy us. And I don't remember where we were in the show notes because I was scrolling on the interwebs while you were talking.
Just because we're having this chat and I go on a rant doesn't mean you take a break, put on your VPN, and go to weird Kyrgyzstan sites.
First off, I was actually looking for property in Pakistan. Okay, so just calm down.
Pakistan. So, everybody, moving on. Michael Saylor's proof of reserve warning. Now, TBC and I think I've said on the show a few times, or have alluded to it, that probably the next bear market is going to start from some big player that has legal compliance but makes a really big mistake. And Michael Saylor's strategy is definitely the elephant in the room. And this recent statements from him have made the crypto market very unsure about him. So Michael Saylor warned at Bitcoin 2025 that publishing on-chain proof of reserves exposes institutions to hacks and tracking, offering a skewed financial picture by ignoring liabilities. Post FTX, he stressed that the need for better security and transparency for these stunts. So the irony here is that the guy that's like, buy Bitcoin, hold Bitcoin, look at all the Bitcoin that we're buying, the guy who is using tons of leverage, I mean, tons of leverage to buy tons of Bitcoin, is now refusing to basically verify that he has that Bitcoin at all. I mean, this strikes me as, TBC, if I'm being frank, I think Michael Saylor is going to cause the bear market.
Do you think he's the new, who's that guy, James Wynn? He's going to get liquidated like you can't believe?
I think so. I could be totally wrong, but at some point, the chicken has to come to roost. And I mean, the Bitcoin price can't go up forever. The S&P 500 can't go up forever. I don't know. It just, and the fact that he doesn't want to show
pump my bags, Jorge.
He's going to pump our bags for as long as he can, and then he is going to, I just don't trust him. I don't trust him. I don't trust Michael Saylor. Do you?
Listen, I've been saying it every time Bitcoin goes up, the only person buying it is Michael. So, hey, let him buy, okay? Let him buy, pump my bags, because that's what I learned this year at the Bitcoin 2025 Las Vegas convention. Pump my bags, send them to the moon, which America may or may have not been to.
Have you seen the documentary of the girl that says, "My teeth are scarce, but that doesn't make them valuable"?
Well, of course, because she's British.
No, but but what I will say in the documentary that she does a really good job of pointing out, even though when I was watching it the whole time, I wish I could be there to explain to her the value prop of Bitcoin. But be that as it may, at the end of the day, she does a really good job of illustrating how Michael Saylor's strategy could collapse. So it is within the realm of possibility. And I would say that if you're participating in the market, that you would be wise to pay attention to whatever these guys are doing, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I could be totally wrong. Maybe it's all working perfectly. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it below. Anyways, TBC, you have some fun IMF news?
Yeah, in another news story no one cares about. We talked about Pakistan, and the IMF has some questions for Pakistan and their mining plans. Why? The hell do I know? But I'm going to read it anyway. So anyway, if you are in Pakistan right now, I got some news for you. Pakistan's plan to allocate 2,000, is this megawatts, for Bitcoin.
Megawatts.
Megawatts, not a gigawatt.
Not a gigawatt.
1.21 gigawatts for Bitcoin mining and AI data centers was tied to the National Bitcoin Reserve, has raised IMF concerns over energy misuse and a $1.1 billion bailout that apparently was provided. The initiative aims to leverage cheap power, but risks financial opacity. So, Pakistan's mining Bitcoin with spare power, I guess, is really pissing off the IMF because nothing says financial responsibility like crypto dreams over a bailout. What the hell am I even reading, Jorge? I don't even know or care anymore sometimes. Tell me, should I care more about this?
I mean, working at the IMF right now is probably the worst job on the planet. I mean, because Your job is to make sure that the US dollar is as powerful as possible. But likewise, you are working for an administration that is so pro Bitcoin. I mean, like, so the US itself is undermining the value of the dollar. Trump has made moves that have made countries dump some of their treasuries and make investors hesitant on purchasing treasuries. As TBC and I alluded to in the last episode, the 20-year interest is higher than 30-year bonds purchased a while back. I mean, people are not sure about the dollar. And so I think the IMF is feeling really weak. Like, they are feeling like they are in a rock and a hard place. They see what's happening in El Salvador, that now their Bitcoin reserve is becoming extremely profitable. And now they're seeing a country like Pakistan that is now going to leverage this reserve as well and potentially have less and less reliance on the US dollar. So it's an interesting dynamic, TBC. And, you know, the IMF, for what it's worth, does provide some financial assistance to countries around the world, but it always comes at a cost. It comes at the cost of the sovereignty of that country. There's always a favor that the IMF expects you to follow.
Yeah, whores.
So
don't take money from the IMF. Also, Jorge, more importantly, the IMF, is it any coincidence that IMF, the International Monetary Fund, oddly enough, also stands for the impossible mission? Wait, impossible mission. Wait, what the hell is it called? Oh shit, I forgot. Hold on. Force.
Go on, TBC.
That's right. The Impossible Mission Force. And right now, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning has come out. Are you not seeing like what's happening? The IMF has an impossible mission going on right now to try to kill Bitcoin.
I mean, yeah.
They're going to bring in
they do.
Ethan so he could go rogue on this. Maybe he goes into Pakistan. Tom Cruise, you out there? I'm going to write your next script right now.
YouTube shuts this video down just
Thank
for that.
God.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll end on this note. I mean, nobody knows what's going to happen in the future. We can't speak on that. And it seems very, I could be wrong, but it does look like we're headed to some type of big economic issues in the United States.
God, you're such a downer.
I don't mean to be a downer, but I'm just saying I pay attention to all of these things. I invest in the market, so I pay attention to all these things. And I don't offer financial advice, but what I will say is, you know, if you're a nation, you do things your own way, and you're trying to bring more sovereignty to your government and also to your people. So if Bitcoin becomes the answer to do that, then so be it. Do it. I mean, you got to do things your own way. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully you're not being a fascist and making people less free wherever you are. Hopefully you're as free as I am here in the good old United States of America. All right. TBC.
Yeah.
Are you ready
No.
for some big news?
Yes. Find some non-bearish news. Let's go.
Yeah. So, SharpLink is having a very bold Ethereum bet. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We now have our own Michael Saylor in Ethereum in SharpLink Gaming. So SharpLink Gaming, a private or a publicly traded company, has now announced a plan to raise $1 billion to buy Ethereum to create an Ethereum treasury, appointing Ethereum co-founder Joseph Lubin as a board chairman, sparking a 400% stock surge. The movement mimics Michael Saylor's Bitcoin strategy.
Wait a minute.
But risk regulatory hurdles if ETH is deemed a security, which definitely won't happen. I mean, seriously, that is not going to happen.
Yeah.
But look, the big thing here is that just like how Michael Saylor is pushing Bitcoin like a Ponzi, I guess SharpLink is going to push ETH like a Ponzi. And these are just technologies that we can use for
Let's
smart
go.
contracts, store of value, ease of transactions, and all of this.
Up my bags.
TBC. Is that your comment?
It's like I don't know. If we were good at this, right? I mean, obviously we could put together a decent script, but like this is absurd, right? Like the story before, okay, the IMF story, which we should just throw away. We're ripping on Michael Saylor, and just being like, this guy just turned into one of these potential greatest scam artists ever. Or one of the greatest heroes ever, right? And
yeah, one of the
everything
two.
we talk about sounds bearish, and then here we are, excited and praising people for doing the same to Ethereum. I mean, I don't know, man. This is you can't make this shit up. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It is. I mean, but what I will say is that what this highlights is an underlying demand for Ethereum. Like, you don't just appoint a guy and then the guy says, we're going to do this. In order for a co-chairman to get that type of ability to, make changes to a company's treasury it's a very complicated process. So it means that, he came in, Joseph Lubin, and created this argument to the rest of the board and said, hey, this asset is extremely valuable. This will benefit our business in the long term. And he was able to convince these people. So what I think this is a sign of, it's not just that we have our own Michael Saylor in the ETH space, but rather the underlying demand for ETH in Wall Street and in the corporate space.
Well, here's what I'll say. I'll say this. I don't know if I care about any of that, but I will say, Michael was a tremendous marketing sounding board for Bitcoin, right? He went out there,
Yeah.
he pumped it, he drew attention to it in ways that so many people have never been able to. And maybe SharpLink is going to be able to do the same with Ethereum. And maybe
For sure.
they'll be able to explain it better to my grandma than, than I did, So
Listen, Grandma, you got to put your money in the magical internet money.
Yes.
That's what you got to do. What, son? Did you know back in my day, ice was delivered in a truck? Grandma, just put all your money in
okay,
ETH.
Grandma, tell your grandmas to invest in ETH, man. They ain't doing nothing.
Not
They ain't doing
financial
nothing.
advice.
That just stop
Just-
it. It's great. If you're a grandma, you should be investing into all staking assets.
Oh, Lord.
Speaking of
We're gonna
great
get
financial advice, they're making a movie about it. Maybe a movie about one of the greatest financial advices ever. Netflix. If you, I don't know if you've heard of Netflix before, but they're going to make this is not a joke, folks. They're going to make an FTX drama series. That's right. FTX, that nightmare we all live through, is going to be made into a cheap, made-for-television movie with everybody's favorite lovable characters. So Netflix, and I believe the working title is The Altruists. Okay.
God damn. What a great name. For real.
Produced
What
by
a great name.
Obama's High Ground, whatever that is. If that's actually Obama's movie,
Production company, I guess.
Jesus, this is just terrible. Is going to chronicle Sam Bankman-Fried's FTX collapse and its $8 billion fraud, starring, get this, Anthony Boyle and Julia Garner. It's supposed to be set to release next year in 2026, and the series dives into SBF's relationship with Caroline Ellison and all the scandal of that fallout. So
Yeah.
this is literally something I can't imagine anybody wanting to see. But before we get ahead, Jorge, if you were producing this, do you have a specific actor or actress in mind to play Sam or Caroline? What do you think?
Okay, well, I mean, you want to make sure that the actors and actresses are as similar as possible to both Sam Bankman-Fried
Very important.
and Caroline Ellison. So, and you also want it to be sexy and saucy, and nothing gets viewers raunchy quite like the sweet, sexy voice of Christopher Walken. Just picture SBF like Caroline, I need you to not look at the books. Just tell them the numbers, the sweet, sexy, not real, fake numbers.
Oh my God.
And let's go date other people, do Adderall and other drugs and have orgies.
Oh.
And then I guess Caroline Ellison, right? Caroline Ellison could be played by Donald Trump, but dressed up like a girl with a wig, and he can just be like, like, Sam, you're so sexy. You've never taken a shower. I love your musk. It smells so good. It's so rich. I can't believe it. Oh my God. Just put that body on me, man. Oh yeah, Sam. Oh, let's be super loud. Oh, baby. Obviously this would make for a very sexy movie about a bunch of teenagers or whatever living in a house in the Bahamas doing Adderall and playing League of Legends. I mean, that's...
Oh, God.
Don't act like that's not what you want, TBC.
I don't
that
even...
you don't lie in bed and wish for that film.
I wish to disconnect altogether. Like, I thought about this. If Anthony Boyle and Julia Garner, I think are a bit generous in the how should we say, looks category to represent.
Oh, for sure. They're very attractive people.
Represent,
and these two are not attractive.
I'm sorry. They're not. On the short list, I tried to find people who I would consider that may appeal to the same sexual demographic or category as Sam.
Right. Powerful stuff.
How about Kermit the Frog? Could you see Kermit playing Sam in this movie? With that voice and just meek, sheepish self, trying to convince Caroline, who looks just like Miss Piggy, who's like,
dude,
into having these League of Legend orgies. It's like, whose turn?
Caroline, I need more Adderall. I'm drinking out. Oh God. Oh, Sam, I'll have your Adderall right now. Oh.
What is, Jesus Christ? This is Netflix. What are you doing? This is the worst clickbait I've ever seen, and the fact that it's oh God,
you can hire me. Just hire me. I'll play all the characters.
Oh my God, this is horrible. This is not right. We deserve better than what this has turned into. I feel like crypto has lost the battle, and the people who are trying to defeat us have just turned everything into a meme at this point. All I wanted to do was liberate the world, people. Just wanted to liberate you guys, and instead now we're gonna have Miss Piggy having an orgy with Danny DeVito. I'm not doing this anymore. I should.
You know that meme where Danny DeVito's like I got guns, and like someone goes, what? It's like, so like I was saying, I got guns and I was shooting, right? It could be like, so I got other people's money and I spent it everywhere.
Do you think the series is actually going to get into the fact that like FTX was like just a Ponzi Hoover? Are they going to get into the money laundering and where it went? Do you think it's going to be true crime documentary, or is it just going to be just this piece of propaganda that are going to just patsy these two super hard and focus on just the disgusting, scandalous nature of it?
Honestly, that's the most important question here. I mean, because these were two people that were glazed by the media when all this happened. I remember those New York Times articles that were trying to write them off as like, oh, these people just made a mistake, or, you know, whatever. Yeah. I mean, and the political connections, the amount of money he donated, that's the part that I'd like to see.
The truth?
That's the part that I want to see. The truth. Now, it'll be interesting if they'll allow it.
Yeah. You don't think the Obama production company is interested in going down that road as a narrative? I don't know.
Just picture Michelle coming into the house at night.
Stop.
Obama's looking out the window. Hold on.
Oh
Come on.
No,
he's looking out the window. He has a glass of like 20-year-old Buffalo Trace because he was a president, so I'm sure he has that. And he's swishing it around, and there's a little bit of ice in the glass, and it's raining. And the rain is hitting the window. The lightning is striking, and Obama's face is only lit by the light of that window. And he just looks at the ground, and Michelle says, "Are you okay?" And he's like, Michelle, they caught him. Sam, our boy, they caught him. Who's going to donate to the party anymore? Soros ran out of money. I mean, we need to make him look good right now.
That's an
there's my terrible Obama impression.
End
scene.
All right. Anyway, moving on. The U.S. is pushing to deny Coinbase privacy appeal. Here's another interesting story. Rocking.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, bearish. Maybe that's the word. I don't know. The United States government is urging the Supreme Court to reject a Coinbase user's bid to block IRS access to crypto trading records, arguing the 2016 summons is vital for tax enforcement. The case could set a precedent for crypto privacy rights. Well, here we go again. The IRS is sniffing around Coinbase users' crypto trades, and the government is like, privacy? What's privacy? Better hide those BTC gains pretty quickly. I gotta say, there's so many different narratives that are juxtaposed to each other coming out right now.
I know.
And can we all just get on board with this? Like, good God, man. So should Coinbase be forced to give the government all your personal information, even though they gave it all away to hackers in India?
Okay. I mean, TBC, I think this is like a very... I mean, look, I'm just a big believer that everybody deserves privacy. Like, if you're not hurting anyone else, then you should be able to have privacy. I don't understand why you can go out and use cash, and if you use cash, that's a fine, easy mean of privacy. I mean, there has to be some kind of balance here. Like, I get that the government has to make its revenues and whatnot to like avoid a deficit collapse. Not that
that's not how they make,
and not that they actually care about that. But I don't know. This is interesting. If the U.S. government doesn't win this, then we're in a new era of blockchain privacy, I think. What do you think?
I mean, obviously, you know what side I'm on. I do think it's a very interesting question, political ethics or privacy rights. Who owns the blockchain, right? You know, if everything boils down to a property rights issue, the question is who owns the blockchain. And I suppose if you participate in the blockchain, you own it, or do the node operators or miners own it? I don't. It's a very great question. It certainly isn't the government that owns it, and the blockchain itself isn't public.
Owned by anyone.
Yeah.
It's not owned by anyone.
So do you have privacy rights on an open public ledger? And does the government have the right essentially to constantly monitor your actions on this?
Right.
What a great question. And one that we could start if we had an actual high quality show where we debate these very interesting topics instead of imagining ourselves to be Christopher Walken and Sylvester Stallone having an orgy.
I was just going to mention that. But, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to highlight the fact that when I was saying my crypto predictions back in January, right? I said XMR would be bullish. Okay,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. I said it would be bullish. And guess what? Since I talked about it, right? Which when I did, XMR was roughly around $200. It has basically doubled in price to 400 or to 397. It's currently on a pullback at 325. It's stuff like this that will make people want to use it. And I know it's not a story that we have here. It was actually like a few years ago, but Mulvad, for those of you that don't know what Mulvad is, it is the only VPN in the world that is truly private. If you are using any other VPN, a government can get your information, no problem. But Mulvad doesn't use credit cards. Like, you can only, you can make payments for it, but they don't track your identity or anything like that. So you pay on a month-to-month basis for access. You can use XMR, which I would prefer if you're watching this. You should probably do it that way. And then that allows you to access the internet in a private way without your data being stored or tracked. And the internet, as well as other tools, should be able to be used in a private way. The government doesn't need to be in every single thing that you do. If you're not doing something wrong, and you're not hurting anyone else, then the government shouldn't be involved. That's my belief. I know that might not be what everyone thinks, but Mulvad, you don't sponsor us.
Oh, I thought that was a commercial. I thought we got.
You should.
Yeah,
you should sponsor us.
Listen,
But the story a couple years ago, the Swedish government went in and was like, "We need all your records of every client," and they posted on Twitter that they let them, they checked it, and then they were like, "No user information was compromised because they don't hold any user information."
That's the type of company I would run. I'm too lazy to actually keep track of my users. That's good. That's that's what I'm talking about. Well done.
So shout out to Mulvad, keeping us private.
Make sure you slap a big Mulvad logo over the screen right now. Ta-da! All right. Anyway,
Mulvad est privacy internet use. However you say that in your language, I have no idea.
Okay. Wow. Anyway. And for the last story, because it wouldn't be a friggin' podcast episode if Jorge didn't make me read some crap that I didn't want to read, even though I already read the IMF story. But here we go. 3 firms are betting big on XRP. Oh, Christ. Alt Capital, Vivo Power, and Webis International announced plans to hold, get this, $430 million in XRP as a strategic reserve, boosting confidence in Ripple's token for payments and diversification. Obviously, this rapid adoption highlights XRP's rising institutional appeal. And if you're watching this, you might have seen that even now Elon Musk is considering using the XRP. And once again, we're living in a timeline where Ripple has won. God, I
give you these stories, TVC, because I want to be a force for joy in your life.
I feel like I feel like that video that came out this week of the Russian soldier who just gave up and was sitting on the ground, and a drone was just circling around him, taunting him. That's what I feel like right now, and I think that's the greatest symbolism and metaphor of what is actually happening in this damn space. Right. My God.
I mean, I'll say this. Although I appreciate their victory in the lawsuit and what that did for the United States crypto industry. I'm not a fan. It's a really, at least to me, from what I've seen, it's a very centralized technology, and that's not why I'm here. And even if you invest in other centralized or more centralized cryptocurrencies or less centralized, it just seems like there's more interesting stuff going on in other chains, which I won't name here, but obviously ETH and other ETH clones and stuff like that seem to be making greater strides. But I will give them this. They have accomplished a lot. They're doing a lot on stable coins. They're doing a lot with other governments and things like that. You know, for what it's worth, they are making wins. If you're watching this and you're an XRP holder, congrats to you.
Congrats.
I am not one of you guys, but congrats to you.
Listen, I'm just gonna say one thing. This is one of the most obvious backroom deals, like type of use our product. Like, this is like everybody who is buying this is an insider that is connected, that is using or planning to use government apparatus and institutional powers for their own interconnectedness. This is them, right? This is them, right? This is not like us out here in decentralized land. We are not included in that game, and you know, they're doing their own thing. And I don't think anyone who is building today, I don't think any devs out there that are building today are going, boy, I really want to model myself after Ripple, you know? And you know, that's good. Keep building, people, because those who control the past are not going to build the future. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for tuning into this most bearish podcast ever of the Beefy Pod. Once again, hope you all have a great day, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment below if you actually made it to the end of this, just so we know. And hopefully have a better week next week. Take care.
Cheers.